Welcome back again to Joe Stunner Boxing. Let's talk about the great man. The great man. And you know, this doesn't need an introduction. You know who I'm talking about when I say the great man. You know immediately. I am, of course, talking about Gareth A. Davies, the man himself, the Gad. Because a couple of people who I know, actually, more than a couple of people, but a couple of people I know, some people have made similar comments in the comment section of videos, but they've said to me two things. Number one, are you obsessed with this guy? What do you keep mentioning this Gareth A. Davies for? He's a twat. What do you keep mentioning him for? Well, one person I know, a female friend of mine, who doesn't even like boxing, but she watches these videos obviously because she can't get enough of my implausibly handsome visage. She says, I don't know who this guy is, but you're obsessed with him. And I thought about this. Obsession's probably the wrong word, isn't it? It's a bit too strong, but there's no doubt I've mentioned him a few times, once or twice on this channel. And I had to say, why do I mention him? Well, to be honest with you, it's because he's the comedy gift that keeps on giving, right? Because he is so, biased towards some fighters, and he's so desperate to appear cool when he isn't, and he looks kind of preposterous, and he's basically a sort of posh boy who knows a lot of, he does know facts about boxing. That's and he can make some sort of, occasionally he'll make sensible comments, occasionally. But I don't really think he knows what he's talking about when it comes to the intangibles of the fight game and context and all the rest of it. And by the way, if I met him, for all I know, I could like the guy. You just don't know, do you? Because but as an outsider looking inwards, he does appear to be kind of ridiculous. So I do consider him to be a very comical figure, not someone I necessarily take that seriously. I mean, I think he's ignorant about a lot of the aspects of boxing, but okay, fair enough. And I think he cares more about himself and his image and being a journalist. He writes for the Telegraph, doesn't he? Boxing journalist, than he does about boxing. I mean, it's basically he's in it to make his own, for want of a better word, brand. I hate that word, but you know what I mean. I don't think he's a real boxing man. He's just a sort of posh boy who, went down that university route and got a pretty good gig with the Telegraph, and he probably likes boxing because these are guys who can do things he can't do, and that's the same. I mean, I admit that is a similarity between me and him. I admire boxers because they do things I can't do. I couldn't do. I don't know how much boxing talent I had because I never really tried to maximize it, but yeah, I mean, I understand to be a fan we're all fans of boxing, but to be a fanboy is, I think, a very different thing. And I think Gareth A. Davies is, in many respects, a fanboy. Now, the other thing a few people have said this was, the funny thing is, you're like Gareth A. Davies. That's what they've said to me. Can you believe that? Now, I can't think of a greater fucking insult. I think I'd rather be called Ted Bundy than Gareth A. Davies. At least he had a way with women. But I think I'd probably rather be called Jimmy Savile or Rolf Harris or Michael Jackson, Gary Glitter or someone like that. And that's a new one, isn't it? Gareth is the Gary Glitter of boxing. I'm going to use that one later on. Anyway, people have said, yeah, you're kind of like him. And when I said to someone left a mess, someone said that in the comment section of one of the videos, and I said, why? Why just and. And they said, because you both use big words. Right. Okay. So we both got a vocabulary. Is that what you're saying? I mean, big words. Okay. I don't know. Maybe I should take up Scrabble. Can you make money out of playing Scrabble? I bet you can somewhere. I bet there's like an online Scrabble thing where you can make money out of it. Maybe I should go do a bit of that. But I don't know. I don't know what Gareth A. Davies' background is, but no, I had to think about this because there is, if you know anything about psychology or you read any books on it, if you studied it, whatever, you'll know that there is a sort of mode of thought that says the things we hate most in other people are the things that we hate about ourselves the most. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like that mirror thing going on. And I did have to think about this. I thought, okay, now someone has made this, a few people have made this statement. You're kind of like Gareth A. Davies. Fucking hell. God, I need counselling. God, I need a safe space. I'm welling up. But I thought, okay, I'll consider it. And I have to say I refute this. There's a big word, refute. Look it up, Google it. That's a good Scrabble word. I just use the word refute. I'm intellectual, I'm academic, you know. I don't buy this because Gareth, like I say, he's a fanboy, and I'm definitely not a fanboy. And I think Gareth, I don't really know his background. I think he is from a reasonably affluent family. I'm not saying he's a wealthy family. I don't know. And I'm not. I'm from I grew up in North London. I lived in a lodging house in North London until I was about 9. Then my mother got a flat in South London through the council, and I ended up on a housing estate in South London in Tulse Hill near Brixton. And so, she was a single mum. You know, my parents never married. Didn't know my father, and so on and so forth. So I come from quite a modest background. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it was bad or awful. Or I always had food in my mouth. I always had a shirt on my back, and I had toys for Christmas. You know, it weren't bad. Don't get me wrong, but there weren't a lot of money flying around. You know what I mean? And I didn't go to college until I was in my 30s. Never mind university. I left school quite early and all the rest of it. So I don't think that's the same background as Gareth's. Okay, so what about attitude towards boxing? Like I say, I don't think I'm a fanboy. Well, I know I'm not a fanboy. I know, but here's the crunch thing for me. Is that if I had the sort of stature, the sort of status, the sort of platform, that's the word, the platform that Gareth had or has, being on TalkSport, having a column in the Daily Telegraph or the Sunday Telegraph or whatever he writes, whatever paper, whatever branch of that particular media outlet he writes for. The one thing I wouldn't be doing is sucking up to anyone. The one thing I wouldn't be doing is saying, this is all about me. This is not about boxing. This is not about boxers. The other thing I wouldn't be doing is I wouldn't be a fanboy. I would be asking questions, the questions that I think the boxing public would want to hear. I would be taking Frank Warren to task. I would be taking Tyson Fury to task over, dodgy Usyk and the ridiculous third Chisora fight, and I would be questioning Anthony Joshua about his comments, those comments, those comments I mean. I would be talking to Eddie Hearn and asking him the awkward questions about Conor Benn and that business. In other words, I'd be doing all the things that I've done on this channel. Right? And people say, yeah, but if they waved a load of money under your nose, you'd roll over. No, I wouldn't. If I have a certain moral point, I'm not for sale. I'm not a prostitute. I don't do anything just because someone's bunging me a few quid. And this is where I differ from a lot of people of my age, particularly the younger generations who seem to view, money being everything. A lot of younger boxing fans, I'm sad to say this. I don't want to pull it. I mean, don't get me wrong, a lot of the older ones ain't that great either, but a lot of the younger ones, probably because they grew up watching, Floyd Mayweather and money is everything, and it's all that really matters. And as long as you mention God, of course, you've got to mention God because that means that you're a moral person. Never mind that you don't have to do anything. You just mention God. Hey, look, I want to thank Jesus. I want to thank Allah. I want to, yeah. Do you actually do anything to help your fellow man? Do you behave like that? No. But I'm a good guy because I mention God. I mention Allah. I'm religious. Look at Ryan Garcia now, a perfect example. When really, of course, it's all about money for them, getting as much money as you can. I'm not like that. I've never been like that. I've never had a lot of money, probably, and I've bypassed chances to make a lot of money. And I've got sacked from jobs for having certain opinions, or I've walked out of them. I'm not for sale. I'm just not for sale. One of my heroes was Muhammad Ali, and I certainly don't agree with a lot of what he said, especially when he was a younger man. But I grew up with that image in my mind of, the fact that Ali was prepared to be, he could have been hung, or not hung, shot. He could have been executed for refusing the draft. That there was a legal, it wouldn't have happened, but it could have, if they really wanted to push the envelope and make an example of him, he could have been shot. But he didn't roll over. He sacrificed. He could have sacrificed his entire career, all the money, all the fame, everything else. There's that famous story of when Joe Frazier was on the up and up, and Ali was in exile. Frazier, gave him money because Ali was short of money. And no, I'm not for sale. I'm not for sale. Whereas Gareth and quite a few of these other so-called journalists are for sale, and I've proved it again and again. By being so sycophantic and so lacking in objectivity, and having such double standards regarding certain fighters and certain promoters and so on and so forth, tiptoeing around certain ones and going for the jugular, for the ones that, not because they want to ask those awkward questions, but because they are siding with someone else. That's not for me. So yeah, I just like to say that because I thought it was an interesting question. Me and Gareth, are we similar? I wonder. Anyway, if you like the video, strange one, isn't it? A bit random. But yeah, if you like the video, hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. And I hope I've given you an idea of why I don't hate the guy. I just don't think he's a proper journalist. And I do think he's a fanboy, and I do think he has double standards, and he's very sycophantic towards some, and I think he's just not. I think he's a rather ridiculous figure, which is why I think he's great comedy gold. But I don't hate the guy. Like I say, I could meet him. I think he's met other YouTubers. He's been on other YouTube channels, and they seem to like him. Okay, fair enough, no problem. But I can't take him seriously. I think that's the bottom line. I just can't take him seriously. But maybe you can. So yeah, if you've got something to say, leave it in the comments section. But like I say, thanks for your time. Comments below, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button. You know that drill. Spread the word about Joe Stunner Boxing. Oh, Gareth, much love to you, mate.